Hey guys, Pretzel here. Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're talking about some more Godzilla movie news, and mainly the news that we're going to be talking about is the MonsterVerse watch along of Godzilla King of the Monsters that was last Thursday, and we're going to be covering all of well, not all, but I'll explain why it's not all. But some of what was shown and what Michael Dougherty, the special guest for the MonsterVerse watch along of King of the Monsters, of course, the director for the film. The reason why I don't have everything is because there is a lot to cover. So I wasn't able to cover everything, and I actually had to cut some stuff from my notes that I was going to have in the video, but if I did have it, the video would have ended up being about a half hour long. So, yeah, I don't want to make a video that long because, a lot of editing. So I did have to cut some stuff out. But if you do want to see everything that was said and, posted, I will be linking the Godzilla King of the Monsters? Yeah, I think it's the Godzilla King of the Monsters Twitter account that Michael Dougherty was using for the watch along, and then Legendary's Twitter account, as well as Michael Dougherty's Twitter account. But I don't really think there's anything from Michael Dougherty's personal Twitter account about this watch along, but there is some Godzilla stuff that is on there if you want to check it out. But anyways, first thing that we have up is that we officially have a kind of like clarification for the term Muto. So basically, Muto means unknown titan, is what Michael Dougherty stated. Well, not exactly stated, but you get what I mean. Which is, makes sense because massive unidentified terrestrial organism, because they don't really know much about the Titan yet, but, once they identify and classify the Titan, then that's when they start calling that a Titan. But I would imagine when they refer to that Titan, whatever Titan it is, specifically, they would call it Titanus, whatever that is, like Titanus Ghidorah or Titanus Masra. So that's pretty cool to have confirmed, term for the Muto. And I guess that kind of makes sense why the Mutos in 2014 don't really have a name, because Monarch wasn't really able to study them and know too much about them. And the new Muto, of course, being called Barb. But I wonder if they're going to expand on that and give the Mutos, a species name. Because I know the Muto Prime has a name. I can't remember what it was. I remember what it was, I just don't know how to pronounce it. So I know Muto Prime has a name, unless Muto, they for some reason decide to make Muto the species name of the Mutos. Yeah. A bit confusing for me, anyways. If it might not be confusing to you, but it's very confusing to me. But also, we have something that was cut from the film, which was Rodant Temple, which is located inside Outpost 56. Essentially, Outpost 56 is Rodant's temple, similar to how Mothra's temple was Outpost, whatever Outpost Mothra's temple was, because I can't remember. But I feel like this would have been really cool to see in the movie, and I actually kind of planned out the whole scene of what they could have done. When the Argo was going towards Outpost 56, you know, tracking Godzilla and Ghidorah to see where they're heading, and, you know, trying to find the orca. What they could have done is, like, have someone inside the Argo communicating with someone inside Outpost 56, and then, you know, Emma Russell turns on the orca, and then we hear Rodan's roar, and we cut to the shot of the villagers looking up at the volcano, and then we can get, like, the same kind of sound, but inside the volcano, inside the base, where they can hear Rodan's roar. Or maybe it just doesn't do that, and then they're inside and you can hear the orca, and then the base starts shaking, and the walls start cracking, and lava's just coming through it, and then it cuts to the scene where the volcano explodes, and then Rodan starts climbing out of it. I think that'd have been really cool to see the statues or the wall art. I'm not sure the wall carvings, is that what you would call it? But you know what I mean from what you can see on the images of those are cracking, ancient art is cracking from Rodan's temple because he's waking up after so long. I think they probably could have done it really cool, but I'm happy with what we got. I think it was still cool either way. Next, we have Michael Dougherty confirms that Godzilla would have won the underwater fight with Ghidorah. I'm pretty sure we already knew this, but I just want to bring it up again because I had some debates with people with that if Godzilla would have won this fight or not, and I stand corrected. Or is that right? Because, I don't know. I'm correct is my point. Next we have is Michael Dougherty wanted, this is for when Godzilla was 100% killing Ghidorah at the end of the film. Mike wanted Godzilla to devour Ghidorah's head instead of, what we got. But Toho is who suggested for what we got, and is what I call the barbecue kill. And the reason why I'm calling it is because Michael Dougherty said barbecue in his tweet that you guys are seeing. So I just, was writing down my thing, and they said barbecue kill. So that's what happened. But I feel like it would have been a lot more gruesome if we would have seen Godzilla eating Ghidorah's head. So I kind of want that out, for that to be a thing. But I'm happy with what we got, of course. But either way, it wouldn't have been as cool as the Kiss of Death, of course. But I feel like that would have been more gruesome and more I am the king and you are gonna die, you bastard. So that's my thought on that. Next we have is that Michael Dougherty says that the scene where Godzilla and the Monarch crew are on the sub, and Godzilla's bending down and looking at him. Mike says that that's important to him because it shows that Godzilla is intelligent and a curious creature, which is, usually found in Kong, which I totally agree with, because I love that the Titans are having a lot of emotion, and not just me big monster, me smash, me fight bad guy and win, and I'm a hero, yay. Kind of like the Hulk. But, in this universe, Godzilla's like Professor Hulk, being all smart and whatnot, but, being a lot more cooler, because, yeah. anyways, next we have that Mike wanted or was gonna do the 3v1 on, like, Godzilla, Mothra, and Rodan fighting Ghidorah, but thought it seemed unfair, and because we've seen it before. Also, Michael Dougherty thinks that it was fun seeing Rodan taking orders from Ghidorah, which I kind of agree with, but I would have liked to have seen Godzilla, Mothra, and Rodan taking on Ghidorah, because it would have shown how powerful and, sadistic Ghidorah is. Because, like, Rodan, like, betrays Ghidorah and just immediately gets destroyed by Ghidorah, because that's how powerful Ghidorah is. And in the film, I don't really think they made Ghidorah seem as powerful as they could have, but that's just me. Some people could think totally different, but I think they could have made Ghidorah a bit more powerful than he is, to show that, Godzilla would have had struggles with Ghidorah and not just easily kill him, like it probably would have been if humans weren't involved, especially in the underwater fight, because Godzilla would have definitely won that fight. Of course, we already discussed this, that Mike confirmed that Godzilla would have won. So I feel like they could have made him more powerful, being able to fight underwater. But it makes sense that Godzilla would have the advantage because he's always in the water. Well, not always in the water, but you get what I mean. It's like his territory, and Ghidorah is more of like on land, in the air kind of territory. Next, we have human profiles. Okay, I know people are not going to want to see these, so I'm just going to list them off of the humans, and I'm going to show the images. If you would like to sit there and read them, then by all means, you can just pause the video when it comes to a certain character you want to know more about, if you don't know too much about them. But I don't want to waste too much time on the humans, because there are a lot of them, and I want to get to as much monster goodness as possible, because I know not everyone likes the human stuff. I have no problem with it, but I know not everyone is like that, so I'm just trying to make it fair for everyone. So the first human that we have is Dr. Emma Russell. Next we have is Madison Russell. Next is Jonah Allen. Dr. Sam Coleman. Hopefully that's right. Next we have my personal favorite, Dr. Serizawa. Next we have Dr. Graham. Dr. Mark Russell. Anthony Martinez. Dr. Rick Stanton. I think that was right, hopefully. Diane Foster, is that it? Dr. Chen. Jackson Barnes. And Lauren Griffin. That is all human stuff. So, there you have it. Next, we have Titan profiles, which is going to be kind of the same pace as the human profiles, because I don't really have too much to say out of them. But if you want to stop at a Titan, specific Titan, then go ahead and pause the video. That's all you need to do. It's not that hard, okay? But I'll try to make it a bit longer for each Titan, so, I don't get, hate. Even though there's going to be someone who hates anyways. First we have, of course, Godzilla 2019. This, of course, being Godzilla being different than 2014. Him with this different dorsal fins and being taller. After time, this has been now my favorite Godzilla design. I didn't like it at first. I wasn't really a big fan of the dorsal fins, but they've grown on me, and now I really like them. Next, we have the infamous King Ghidorah, or maybe famous King Ghidorah. Who knows? This Ghidorah is my favorite of all incarnations of Ghidorah. I really like this. I think the design is really well done. I like the different emotions in the head, but like I said before, I feel like they should have made him a bit more powerful, but I like with what we got. And I really wish I had an SH Monster King Ghidorah figure. That would be pretty cool, but too expensive, and you can't even buy one anyways anymore. Next we have Rodan from King of the Monsters, of course. This being my favorite incarnation of Rodan. There's a lot of my favorite incarnations from this movie. I just really liked Rodan. I thought Rodan was really cool, but I feel like they could have done a lot more with him, especially with Rodan and Mothra's fight. We kind of just got like little glimpses of it. I think we should have gotten more out of it. Though mainly in the movie, Rodan is kind of just like beaten up by everyone. Poor Rodan. Next we have is Skeela. This is one of my favorite like new Titan designs. I like all of them, but this is like behind Behemoth. This is probably like my second favorite. I like how it's kind of like aquatic looking, but you know, being on land and being kind of like I know there's a word for it, but I'm just gonna call it kind of like crab-like. I know there's like a word for, you know, crabs and lobsters and shrimp and all those kind of stuff, but I just can't think of it as like Cretaceous or something. I don't know, but I like Skeela. Next we have is Methuselah. This is the I don't know. I wouldn't say my least favorite, but I feel like we could have gotten more of Methuselah because we didn't really see much of this Titan. Like we seen, you know, Methuselah coming out of the ground, and then like I feel like a few other shots maybe, but nothing really else. We didn't really get like a full wide shot of Methuselah like we did with like Behemoth and a few shots of Skeela. So I feel like they could have done that, but maybe we'll get some more footage of Methuselah in Godzilla vs. Kong. Next is Mothra. This, I'm not sure if this is my favorite Mothra design. Mothra in this movie was, of course, really cool, and her theme for this movie is my favorite theme out of the whole film. Though, you know, of course, Godzilla's being my favorite, but out of all that, Mothra is my favorite. I just really like the Mothra theme. So that's that, I guess. Next we have is Behemoth, my favorite of the new Titans. I don't know. I just really like Behemoth. I think he's really cool. You know, having all the kind of like jungly, grassy, earthy stuff being on like his tusks and on him, and I think he's really cool. And I wonder if we'll see more of him too. Behemoth is the best. But out of Titan profiles, we now have concept art. First concept art we have is of Godzilla's first appearance in King of the Monsters. You know, him swimming on the, or near the underwater base. The concept art looks pretty cool. You know, having like kind of wide shots of Godzilla looking into the glass. I think it's cool of what we got, but I wonder how it would have been if we would have been like had a Godzilla's perspective on the humans. Kind of similar to how we are seeing the concept art, And I'm actually wondering if that's what they're going for in this concept art, if they're gonna have like a wide shot of seeing Godzilla swimming, and then like you could see the glass and the humans sitting there staring at him, or if that's just like, you know, concept art of what they were gonna do. My next, my next, the next concept art is my favorite concept art of what we have is of Ghidorah's head regeneration. This is the one thing I found very fascinating about Ghidorah in the film, is that his head regenerated, which was originally my theory way back before the movie came out, because of TV spots, which ended up being true. So I actually got something right for my theories, because 90% of the other ones are wrong. But the way, like, when they showed it in the movie, I thought it was super freaking creepy. And this is, you know, giving a better look at it. Of course, I don't think this is exactly what it looked like, but it's very similar. And, like, the head growing out and, like, the jaw separating, coming together, and, like, the head folding onto itself, or, you know, it's super weird and creepy. I just thought it kind of, like, grossed me out, but not, like, in a way that I would, like, oh, that's gross, I don't want to be anywhere near it, but kind of, like, gross, like, oh, man, that's gross, but in a good way. But I like that we got a better look at it. Next, we have a kind of concept art of Behemoth, though I'm not really sure if it's concept art, because it looks very similar to what we got that was in the film of Behemoth. So maybe they just did one concept art of Behemoth and it was like, that's good, we're fine. And they didn't need to go anything else with it. Next we have is of Scylla. This looks a bit more creepy, and I'm using in the thumbnail because of how creepy it looks. I'm actually happy with what we got, because, you know, this is kind of looks like an octopus with legs, but like the octopus part has like a hard shell-ish thing. I guess that's what it could have been, or maybe it would have been just like skin. But with what we got, I wasn't sure if they were gonna go with a hard shell or not for Scylla. My chair is very squeaky, by the way. Next we have is Godzilla, which is what we've already seen before, but I wanted to show it anyways because it's my favorite concept art out of all the Godzilla concept arts. Also, I want to say really quickly, I'm not sure if any of these concept arts were seen before. I know the Ghidorah one, I don't think that was shown, but I'm not sure about the other ones, so, you know, just saying that. But I know this Godzilla one and another one that I'm going to get to later, I have seen before. But anyways, the next we have is of Mothra's larva. This one, of course, being like a bit more creepy than what we got, even though the one that we got anyways was creepy, which is accurate to most like real life moths, because those guys are creepy and they're not furry like caterpillars, or some caterpillars, so, you know, they're disgusting. But at least it didn't look like a brown turd. I'm looking at you, Showa Era, and some of the other Mothras that look like brown turds. Next we have is of a Monarch Outpost. Nothing really to say about this, you know. Of course, you know, it looks very futuristic, which is pretty cool. Next we have is of Frozen Ghidorah, which the frozen thing that Ghidorah was, I thought was pretty cool, you know, having Ghidorah woken up and, you know, fighting Godzilla and whatnot. and the like kind of backstory of how Ghidorah got there being a mystery, though I'm pretty certain that it would make more sense if it was Godzilla Ghidorah fought and Ghidorah lost and got frozen. Next we have is of Rodan, which is what we've seen before, but I wanted to show it because I think it's really cool. Next we have is kind of concept art, I guess you could call it, but it is a better look at the oxygen destroyer that we have in the film, being more kind of like the blueprint of the oxygen destroyer, less than the oxygen destroyer itself, being a solid kind of thing. I think this oxygen destroyer was pretty interesting. Of course, being very close to killing Godzilla. Though it was pretty obvious that, in the movie when, pretending that Godzilla is gonna die, it's like, it's kind of like that thing where it's like, that he's not gonna die because it's obvious. But I feel like they could have done something different of how Godzilla came back. But that's just me. And I don't really want to get too much into it because this video is long enough. And I know I said I wouldn't want to make a 30-minute video, but it looks like this video is going to be 30 minutes. So that probably means that if I would have included the other stuff, it would have been longer than 30 minutes. But the next stuff we have is probably going to be pretty short. Next we have is song lyrics for 2 songs in the film. I believe one of them is "Old Friend." I can't remember all of the names of the songs, but I'm pretty sure one of them's "Old Friend" and the other one is "First Gods." The First Gods, or maybe it's the Ancient Ones. I don't know. I feel like I know for a fact. I'm pretty positive, as that the First Gods is a song title, but I'm not sure about the Ancient Ones. So I'm gonna guess that it's "Old Friend" and "First Gods" for the song lyrics. So that's that. That's pretty cool. Next we have is Monarch locations. Basically, more concept art. First we have one of Mothra's temple, looking pretty cool. The next one is Outpost 32. The one with Ghidorah frozen in ice. There's not too much to go off of that. And next we have the Argo. I think the Argo was pretty cool. Really cool aircraft and a cool thing to have in the film. Being how Monarch is futuristic and being able to have like better technology and better things, which is why I think it would make sense for a giant aircraft for Godzilla King of the Monsters. But yet again, I'm not sure if it would be able to hold Godzilla and Kong at the same time. That is a bit unbelievable because of how much Godzilla and Kong weigh together. But if it does end up being an aircraft, then damn, this one powerful aircraft. Next we have is Outpost 56. Of course, being Rodan's outpost. And then, there's a little text in the middle being like, oh, this is a nod to Rodan 1956. And then there was another thing with the Ghidorah one, it being a nod to the thing. Next we have is of Godzilla's temple, which I thought would have been really cool. Or not really cool. Thought it would have been really cool. I thought it was really cool to see Godzilla's temple, like his home. Also, I want to extend off of this is that Michael Dougherty, I think he said that that like Godzilla had multiple homes. I heard it somewhere. I don't know if Michael Dougherty said it or someone else said it, that like, I think, but I'm pretty sure Michael Dougherty said that he likes to believe that Godzilla has multiple temples that he can go into, but I can't say for sure. If you guys go on the descriptions and look at all that stuff, and I'm sure you can let me know if he did say that or not, but I can't remember for sure. But that is it for this video. That's a long video. I'm doubting that there's going to be anyone watching it. If you are still watching it, then thank you very much, because, wow, a lot of stuff. I actually didn't think this video was going to be this long. So, if I had the other stuff, it would have been a lot more longer. It probably would have been 40 minutes, maybe even 50. Yeah. But I'm sure it would have been maybe a minute or two shorter because of my speech difficulties. But I promise that I will fix it when I get a computer, when I can finally edit out my mistakes. Can't wait for that day to come. But anyways, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.